bitch!
Alex?
You've got no business spying on me.
That isn't fair. I was concerned about you.
Just like Jerry was concerned. I bet the two of you were in on this together.
Jerry has nothing to do with it.
Huh? Hello, people of YouTube land. August is here, which means that Halloween is pretty much right around the corner. Soon enough, Spirit Halloween stores will be setting up and getting ready to open their doors. Blue Mart and Red Mart will be putting up the Halloween decorations and candy in the seasonal aisles. And for me personally, this is when I start watching a marathon of horror movies. Starting now, and usually ending maybe 2 weeks after Halloween, before getting ready for the holidays. Now, me being the avid horror fan I am, I figured, you know, why wait till October? Let's kick this horror fest now. And I couldn't think of any way better to share my joy with you, the viewer, than to introduce you to the delights of the best of a bad situation, one of the best, worst movies I have ever seen, a masterpiece in schlock cinema, Slime City. A 1988 horror film, although looking at the cinema photography, you'd swear to God it was either made in the 70s or mid-90s Bollywood. Written and directed by Greg Lamberson, who would go on to make a career out of B-list cinema, and on a budget of $100,000. Keep in mind, the original Halloween 1978 had a budget of $300,000, and that was 10 years prior to this film, so it really was working with not a whole lot. The film has a very simple plot. Our main character, Alex, moves into a rundown apartment in New York City, and he is instantly greeted by his neighbors who want him to be the vessel for Zachary, a once satanic cult leader who he and his followers died in the building that they're currently residing in. Now, of course, without viewing the movie and hearing that synopsis, that actually sounds like a pretty interesting concept. But how they go about it is where it's just truly, truly fucking amazing. They come off as very friendly, and they're always inviting him over to feed him this substance that they call Himalayan yogurt, and give him a liquor which is basically an elixir for the yogurt. What it is in reality is ectoplasm that belonged to the spirit of Zachary, and the drink is supposed to act as a catalyst to make the transition for him to take over that much easier. As time goes on, Alex, and being honest, he was already a little bit of an asshole to begin with, but as he keeps partaking in the ectoplasm and in the elixir, he slowly starts losing himself and giving more into the darker side of himself. It kind of starts with his frustrations of not being able to get into his girlfriend's pants, who is saving her virginity. He eventually cheats on her with his neighbor who lives across the hallway from him, and she is part of the whole scheme of, you know, getting him to be the vessel for Zachary. He also ends up killing the lady of the night, some bums, and even his best friend just for asking a few too many questions. Eventually, Zachary takes over entirely, and it's up to Alex's girlfriend, Lori, to stop him.
Stay back, Alex!
Stop calling me Alex! I'm Zachary!
What makes this movie so special is the bland approach that we get from the main character, Alex, who is played by actor Robert Sabin. He's not necessarily bad in this role. I can't say it's necessarily bad acting per se, but it's just a bit of a lifeless approach in some situations that come off unrealistic, but just it adds to the charm of this film. There is a scene in which one of his neighbors, who's this elderly lady who claims to be the daughter of Zachary, and she also informs him that every single resident in this building has been taken over by the spirit of one of Zachary's followers, and he is the last one that is needed. She breaks down the plot for him, bit by bit, even the ending of the movie, and that doesn't even come until after. And his response to this is just so casual. It comes off like an interview. It's almost like as if the movie realized, like, hey, you know what, maybe people won't know what the fuck is going on so far, so let's just have this big exposition scene so we could explain it to them. And his lack of response to it is just hysterical. It's like there's no type of emotion, him not getting upset, him not getting angry.
Why did your father and his followers kill themselves?
It was an experiment. He gave them a reason to live. And a reason to die.
And the people whose bodies they possessed?
It's just one of those scenes that kind of just stays with you because of how fucking awkward it feels. Another fun part of this film is the low budget nature to it. So low budget that they couldn't even find another actress to play the seductive neighbor who lives across the hallway. They literally took actress Mary Huner, who was already playing his girlfriend Lori, and just said, fuck it, we'll throw a wig on her and she can play the seductress who lives across the hallway. And admittedly, I didn't realize this at first, so I guess it was effective to some degree. Granted, part of that could have been the low cinematography quality that they used. And I'm sure part of it was the fact that I was completely distracted by this TSFW, meaning totally safe for work, lover scene, in which they are both fully clothed and still manage to climax.
Zachary! Zachary!
Now, the best part of this movie, and probably the most memorable part, is the gore effects. And yes, there is some seriously low-budget shit going on here. However, though, I have to applaud the execution of the low-budget effects, because while being low-budget, and yes, while you can tell that some of the organs were just some shit that they bought at a grocery store, at the same time, it's scenes you haven't seen in a movie before. You have stomachs that turn into mounds and fucking eat the hands off of muggers, body dismemberment that reminds you of something out of You Can't Do That on Television, all finalized with a head and a brain that just refuses to die. It is the perfect blend of hack and genius, and once you see it, it's really hard to forget, which is more than I can say about most of the big budget blockbusters that you see today. So do yourself a favor, grab yourself a soft drink, grab yourself some popcorn, maybe partake in a little herbal relaxation if you have that option, and watch this movie. It's currently on Tubi TV, so it's free, with ads of course, and it's a great way to start off this Halloween season if you're not looking to freak yourself out too much. Unfortunately, I already made the mistake of watching Terrifier 2. Holy shit. If something like that is too much for you, or if you don't want something too serious, Slime City is the perfect viewing experience, and I can't recommend it enough. It is literally the best of the bad. A masterclass in schlock cinema. Well, thanks for watching, and as usual, if you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do.
Stop it, Lori. Stop the pain.